This field trip is a trip to Useless Bay, also on Whidbey Island. In fact, it's not far from Freeland, where we went last field trip, but whereas Freeland is on the sheltered side of the island, Useless Bay is on a more exposed side of the island. So let's take a flight down there and see what it's like. There we go, down through Whidbey Island, there's Freeland, and then down to Useless Bay, right there. We'll come in to Useless Bay on this road right over here. You see there's a housing development in there. So we'll come in on this road that's way over here, like this, and park right there. We'll be exploring out through the intertidal here and over into here, out in Useless Bay itself. This is Double Bluffs cliffs along here. We'll see the base of those cliffs sometime. I already went on the trip this time, and when I first got down there, I stopped and gave an introduction to the bay, but it didn't record properly, so I'll have to give a little more of an introduction here. Useless Bay is not really useless. It's probably called that, I'm assuming, because there's so much sand here near the beach. It's so shallow that you can't bring in very large boats there or anything, although when we get down there, there'll be small boats stranded all over here because the tide's out. It's more exposed, as I said. You can kind of zoom back and see that it's on the windward side of the island, but it's a lot less exposed than up here, where you get this big waves and currents coming down the Strait of Juan de Fuca here. We're in Puget Sound itself, but there's still a bit of fetch here, so you can have more waves here than you would back in this sheltered place here, like Freeland, or up here in Penn Cove, where we were before. So we can see we're still a little north of Seattle on this long Whidbey Island that's there. The day was rainy when I got there, and so there's rain that falls on the camera sometimes, and I try to wipe it off from time to time, so we'll just have to deal with that. So let's go take a look at Useless Bay and see what kind of species we can find there. It's a quiet, moderately quiet environment, but more sandy than the more muddy environments we've been at already. I'm going to see if I can find what's digging some of these burrows here. Quite a few of them around. Let's see here. Oop, up, up. Okay, that's that shrimp again. Okay. All right. Looks like we got plenty of those around here. That's right, guy. Go down, back down a little bit. Okay, crawl on in. Here we have a classic species of sandy beaches. A sand dollar. That's just a small one. Of course, this is an echinoderm, class Echinoidea. And one notices if you go to the key right there, I'll let you key it out yourself, but the key says that it's much flatter than it is wide. As you can see, it clearly is. It's also not round in cross section. I mean round in outline. It's not round. You can see the petalidium on there, which is it's like the ambulacral, like the star-shaped pattern. The mouth is underside. On an urchin, the mouth is on the middle of the underside and the anus is in the middle of the top here. On this species, the mouth is in the middle here, but the anus is over here at the side. So it's really kind of bilaterally symmetrical. I will stop this movie and take a few photographs of it here so that you have a good picture of it. have a red rock crab. They can bury pretty deeply in the sand. This one's buried, it's just part way. See if it's active here. Hello? Now sometimes these are males. Oh, look, it's lost a claw. It's been in a fight or something. It's lost several claws here. So I'm going to look. Oh, yes. No. Okay. I'm wrong. This time of year, it's time for breeding, and the with an exoskeleton, their gonopores are sealed up. It's hard as rock. So they will mate. They will wait until when the female molts and she's soft. That's when the male can pass his sperm to her. So often when a female is getting somewhere to where she's an adult and somewhere getting towards molting, they'll pair up, and the male will be holding a female. She's lying upside down under him and just carrying her around for days or a week or so until she molts, and he'll protect her from being damaged because she's helpless when she's molted, but will breed with her too. I thought maybe there was a female down there, but there's not. I felt at first something hard, but it was just a leg that was stuck there. This guy has obviously been fighting. You can certainly see the squared off mouth parts there, and very, very clear dark markings on the claw. By the way, on the claws here you can see this on the chela. This claws are called a chela, and this is the propotus, and this is the dactyl. The dactyl is the movable part called the thumb, like that, and this is the propotus. On a regular walking leg, this is the dactyl and propotus. Carpus is above that, little one right there. And then there's a propotus, carpus, maris. Ischium is kind of covered up with algae there. Anyway, this one's probably going to molt. When he molts, he's regrowing legs inside of there, and he'll have little legs again after a couple molts. Of course, this is an adult. You see it hasn't molted for quite a while. There's barnacles growing on here. Some crustaceans have a terminal molt, and so once they get to a certain size, they won't molt again. This is about as big as a red rock crab usually gets. I don't remember for sure whether a red rock crab has a terminal molt or not, but if it does, this guy may spend the rest of his life with these barnacles on there. He can't get rid of them, and may not be able to regrow those legs because he can't molt. Here's a sign of one of the things I'm hunting for here. This is an egg mass from a moon snail. They lay thousands and thousands of eggs in there, and it's made of a smooth. It feels like plastic almost, like smooth plastic. But obviously they pack sand in with it and lay it here in the sand. They're a major predator out here. Goes bulldozing through the sand, looking for clams and things to eat, drill into. I'll keep looking, see if I can find a moon snail. I have here the shell of a large species of clam that lives here, part of the shell. And in the bivalve key, they talk about having a shelf-like myophore or chondrophore near the hinge. You can see this species has it here. So it has the cardinal teeth here, where the two shells come together. But then there's this shelf-like thing that comes out. It's a way for cartilage or a muscle to hang onto there and hold this hinge together more tightly. So that's what they mean when the key talks about a chondrophore or a myophore. I forget if this is a chondrophore or a myophore. There's some slight difference between them. Here's another crab, dug in well. Let's see what species it is. Here, bud. Huh. This is a Dungeness crab. That's not very fun to get that all over you. Different species. Got a broken claw here. Also, let's wash that off. I see you nicely here, not covered up with stuff. There. Notice the claw is light colored on the end, not dark. It's a lighter carapace. The last tooth here is the widest. The carapace is widest at the last tooth. Let's see what we have to do with this ridge along here. You see the series of bumps along there. This is caught commercially here. Get all the crud off of it here. Again, you notice this crab could pinch me pretty hard, but as long as I hold it here on the backside like this, I'm not vulnerable. Okay, let's see. This is a female. See how it has the wide abdomen there. Let's see, and notice this one is not super rounded, but it's more rounded than the males. Now, they don't like to have their abdomen pulled up, but I want to pull it out a little bit so you can see the pleopods, the legs that are attached to the abdomen, are all feathery. She uses them to carry eggs. The males have, remember I said, have hardly any legs in there. Let me see if I can get it out. Well, actually, you can see one sticking out here. Let's see. She's going to get mad as soon as I, yep. As soon as I, yeah, she's not going to let me. Okay, never mind. Well, you can see one little feathery pleopod sticking out there. Put it up close enough to see it there. Okay, I'll stop harassing you. She's digging herself back in again. I guess she's satisfied there. We have in this area several of those sand dollars that are in life position. I'm up from the ocean a little bit, but in this salt creek here running down, they tend to shove in one side into the sand and stick the other side up a bit. This is not sticking up as much as others, but you can see how this individual is, it's actually a dead one here. But anyway, they tend to stick up in the sand like that when they're in the life position. Let's see if on this one, if we can see more of the underside. Oh, it's broken off there. So there's the mouth right there, and the anus would be over here. I want to see that. I'm finding. You notice when they're live, they have lots of real small spines all over them here. I can feel the spines there. But when they've been dead and up on the beach for a while, all those spines fall off and they turn kind of a gray-white. And that's what people usually see when they see a sand dollar. Now, I know those moon snails are here because I've been seeing several egg cases here. There's another one. Here's a dead sea urchin. I mean, a dead sand dollar where you can see the, there, whoops. Okay, you can see the mouth. And you can see right here the small hole. That's the anus. Things are falling out there. Anyway, so they're not... Echinoderms are biradial symmetry, but these are less biradial. It's obviously bilateral symmetry that sand dollars have. So I'm seeing quite a few of the egg cases out here in the little more sandy area, but even over here more in the where there's more gravel and stuff, I'm seeing some egg cases there. So got to keep my eyes peeled here, see if I can find some moon snails. And this is apparently the place where a lot of the clams are too. People are out here digging away. This is a juvenile red rock crab. They have a different pattern, kind of an interesting pattern. This is probably a molt. Let's see. Yes, it's a molt. But you can see the beautiful colors that the red rock crab have when they're juveniles. Ta-da! No live moon snails yet, but I found a moon snail shell here in good condition. A pretty good sized predator. The animal is, when it's out, it looks way too big to fit inside this shell. It's just this giant mass around there when they're fully out. But if you keep bothering them, apparently they take water inside to some chamber inside, because they start squirting water out and squirting water out and squirting water out, and finally they can pull clear in and slam the operculum shut behind them. You might as well save that shell. It's a good looking one. Well, you're even seeing me down here. You can see the parts. Take that back and maybe look at enough features to have you key it. Here's a pretty cockle shell. Seeing lots more moon snail egg cases. I'll keep looking. Try digging here to see what might be down there. I see lots of shells of other clams around, but mainly butter clams I'm finding. Probably if I went down a couple of feet I could find the other type of clam, but it's pretty rocky here. Not an easy place to dig, so I think I'll just put them back in the hole here and head back down the beach. I'm over here by Double Bluffs now. You can look up and see the Double Bluffs. It's a couple hundred feet high. That's glacial outwash from the toes of glaciers. The water rushing down and carrying out sediment and depositing it there. You can see all the turbulence where the sediment was deposited. Pleistocene glacial outwash, and no doubt these rocks here also from glacial outwash. There are a number of red worms here in this sediment. I'll take a few back, see if we can separate them out and see what they are. There are also more of those shrimp hiding down in there. Kind of a rocky place for them to dig, and I guess they can dig, some of them can dig. Now this looks very suspiciously like a moon snail that's still here. I'm seeing lots and lots of egg cases in here, but presumably most of them have already headed out to deeper water again, or else dug into the sand so far you can hardly see them. But here it looks like there's one here. I haven't touched it yet. Let's see what it's like. Okay, there's a small shell there. That looks like the animal's body. Let's see. Come here. Oh, just, yeah, that's a little moon snail. But there's the animal. Closing up. Just a little one, didn't know enough to head out to sea again, I guess. Come on, bud, go into your shell. Slam the door. You saw that water that was running out at first. Now he closed up. Okay, got a nice horny operculum there. Open umbilicus you can see there. I found a bigger one. Let's see how this one is. There. Okay, pulling in. Look how they're squirting out water. Some of it's coming out from the shell itself there. Maybe that's where most of the water is, inside the shell. But look how they collapse down. Amazing how that big body can get in. When they're out like that, they can crawl through the sand, and their whole body is sticking up like this. It's just like a big snowplow in front of them. So, of course, it's hard here when there's a lot of rocks and stuff. This was pushing up a rock there. But he's almost in. I'll put him down. So they're pretty good. Their body is massive out there and shaped in a good way for getting through the sand. I gotta dry off my hands before I touch my camera. Here's a flatfish that probably came in here hunting and didn't make it back out to sea for some reason. You see how the eye is migrated around. It was on the other side when it was a baby, but it's migrated up, so they're both on the same side here. It's only partly there. Probably the gulls have been eating on it. Now let's see what we have here. Yeah. Couple varnish clams immediately. Let me get gloves. It's just jammed with purple varnish clams down in here. These guys, they're an introduced species here. Zillions of them. I won't get too many, just a few. Piles and piles. Yeah, I was looking for some other species here too. Very, very abundant with purple varnish clams. And we need to go down the beach a little farther. We're getting quite high in the intertidal here. You can see where the tide doesn't get to here all that much. Purple varnish clams seem to be very, very effective at living places other clams don't seem to do very well, which is nice because then they're not competing so much with the native clams. They do compete with the little neck clams over here. Little necks don't usually live quite this far up. I'm seeing nothing but purple varnish clams here, so I'm going to cover this up again and move down the beach just a little bit.